It's famous and
Yeah,
bald.
Matt Lucas.
It's not... Yeah, Matt Lucas is pretty
We're
bald.
terrified. We've got to get this out.
I'm not going to put my finger
If
up
you were going to blow
any of your
smoke on my
butts.
arse, I wouldn't be playing.
That guy over there is
I don't think
bald.
you've named him,
I
have
thought
you?
you meant you wanted
Is
me to
this,
put my
is
finger...
this so if you... Willie Thorne! Sorry.
Where Willie Thorne? Sorry. It's very good.
I know you're supposed to put your finger up the dog's bum if it's biting you and won't let go.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, bull terriers, dogs like that. Because their jaws lock, the only way you can make them release it...
Well...
Finger up the bum.
OK.
Well, no, you can use a stick or other implement. It doesn't have to be... The dog doesn't go, is that a pen? I'm not releasing it.
I think it would show considerable sang-froid to take out a pen while a dog is on to your arm. I'll remove... No, not the fountain pen, just the bic.
But to be fair, the dog in my scenario is also a talking dog. Right? So that's true. To do, go, you've been on your holidays. Well, the thing is, let go.
There you are. OK, good. That's nice. But coming back to your sensible supposing you had this problem that I wanted to cure, one of the ways to cure it might be to get you to name 7 bald men. Another way might be to make you drink a glass of water while a friend plugged your ears. Hiccups. There are many supposed cures for hiccups. Thinking of bald people, it does something to your brain that apparently can help you. But there is only one absolutely surefire medical way of stopping hiccups, and that is...
Death.
Digital rectal massage, i.e. putting a finger up a bottom and having a bit of an old wiggle.
I never knew that the bottom was a passage to so many cures. I thought it was just
when you say
spelling excrement, but no.
When you say digital rectal massage, was there a point where it changed from analogue? I remember because I think there was a big campaign on the TV at the time.
Yes.
And they were going...
People going, oh, no, it's not a very good signal.
It's not as warm.
Get up on the roof and adjust the area.
I'll tell you what...
Hurry up, I can't.
I'll tell you what, I can't wait till 2012.
It's somehow colder, isn't it, the digital? It's not as warm as the analog.
Yeah, but it's a lot more vivid.
It is more vivid.
How do you get a whole row of seats to yourself on a Virgin Airways flight?
Oh, if you're really fat.
That would, yeah, I think they might be able to get rid of an arm. But I don't think they'd let you on if you were any fatter.
No, but, like, really fat. Oh, I see what you mean.
Die is the right answer. You'd have to die.
Die!
Yeah.
You can't make people sit next to the dead. That's the truth, isn't it?
I think that would be what it was. And if you're flying, say, London to New York, if you're near enough and someone dies, you'd turn around and all the other passengers go, no, really? That's some consideration. But once you pass that point of near return, as they call it, then there's nothing you can do about it except go on to New York.
But what if the plane's full? Do they keep a row for the dead just in case? And in which case, if they keep a row for the dead, what if 2 people die?
Exactly. There's always a row at the back,
and
the crew use it for having a kip. What it means is the crew will then have to be awake.
Yes.
Right. The dead bloke, that'll piss off.
Does it happen a lot, though?
Oh, now, this is what's interesting. British Airways have about 10 deaths a year in flight.
Well, that food is just...
For 36 million passengers. So if you extrapolate out to the rather amazing 3.5 billion passengers that fly every year, that means there must be around 1,000 deaths a year. And different airlines have different ways of doing it. Singapore Airlines have a corpse cupboard. I don't know why it's funny, but it is. So no one need even know there's a dead person.
I'm sorry.
But it's also faulty towers, isn't it?
If I ever die on a plane, I should like to be stored in the overhead lockers.
For the rest of time.
Yeah.
British Airways, however, you get a good deal if you die because you go to first class. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
At last.
One long-established steward said, many years ago, we used to give them a vodka and tonic, a Daily Mail and eye shades and tell passengers they were fine. We don't do that anymore. Yeah, I think... it's bad enough being dead, but having to hold a Daily Mail... Holy
Mail and other newspapers, not just the Daily Mail, when they talk about their circulation, they are also including the newspapers that they give away for free. Oh, really? And so I don't think the airlines or any of those kind of institutions actually pay for the newspapers.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's mainly, the Daily Mail's mainly dead people on aeroplanes.
Yeah.
But the dead are very, very right-wing.
How much sleep does a paradoxical insomniac get?
Paradoxical... Lots?
Well, yes, he does.
More than he thinks.
Yes.
It's like a paradoxical kleptomaniac who leaves things in shops.
What a wonderful thing to be.
He's left a DVD on the tea bags again.
Yeah, it's a very rare condition, but essentially your body sleeps very happily, and all the scientific equipment that goes onto the brain to check that you're sleeping shows that you are sleeping, but you're awake. And you remember where you are and what's going on, but you're refreshed.
Are you doing stuff like are you driving a bus?
No, no, absolutely not. No, they're definitely asleep in bed.
So are these people... Do they... So, sorry, I don't really understand, and I think you're lying, but anyway... are these people the sort of people... Do they say, oh, I've had a good night's sleep, or do they say, I haven't slept a wink? How do they feel? They feel refreshed.
They feel refreshed, they
but
feel
how do
fine.
they know they haven't slept, then?
Well, because they've been
slept,
awake all
haven't
the
they,
time.
Stephen? They've slept, haven't
In
they?
their mind, they've been awake all the time.
Is this when you have to be awake at 10 to 5, and miraculously, you are awake at 10 to 5?
That's an alarm clock, love.
No, I have that too. I do, definitely. It's extraordinary.
So is that the same kind
Works
of...
very well. At school, if we were going on a little dawn raid or something like that, they'd say...
Sorry?
We have, well, you know, to do a raid on the kitchens and steal jelly and things, you know. So,
I forgot you grew up in an Enid Blyton novel. To get your catapult back from the teacher.
you would do this onto the pillow. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, like that, and you'd wake up at 4 in the morning. And it always seemed to work. Honestly, I can't remember a time when it didn't.
Bullshit.
No.
Okay.
Totally agree.
It's maybe a false memory I've got, but it's a very clear one.
It all changes when you get an enlarged prostate.
Hit it 4 times on the pillow.
Something that Blyton didn't cover much.
She didn't, did she? How old are you?
Norton. How old do I look?
See you!
How old do I feel?
Just shows you the effect of this game, though. You ask a question, all 4 of us think that is something I definitely know the answer to. I've been made so uncertain. I'm not even willing to give my own age, name, or address.
How can this possibly be a trap?
Yeah.
I am 37. No, 37.
Dublin, no breed.
Yeah,
There we go. No points lost.
We should all do it. I bet you they've got some of it wrong. Peter House Mitchell.
34, eh?
34.
Oh, 34. Yeah. You don't want to do this.
I'll do it. I've worked a grand more than 46. I'm not doing it.
Well, obviously, as the baby that was, you know, called Graham or Dara or David or Alan was, you know, arrived on the planet the number of years ago that you said, but that's not how old you are when I touch you. If I touch your arm, how old is that arm? Is that as old as that?
It's like 6 weeks old or something like that. 5 years we replace our entire...
There are different bits of one, that's right. There are different bits of one that take... Some of them...
Your cells regenerate.
Your red blood cells last only 120 days. A liver has a turnaround time of 300 to 500 days, sort of 1.5 years.
Hurry up.
The entire human... Give it a chance to recover. The entire human skeleton is replaced every 10 years or so, so all your bones
Really?
replaced. Yeah.
That's good, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Unfortunately, they're replaced in an aged way, rather annoyingly, rather than a brand new
So they're
way.
replaced with second-hand ones?
Well, not exactly used, no, but...
I'm thinking of trading in my 8-year-old Mazda for an 8-and-a-bit-year-old Mazda.
I'm afraid that's how it goes, yeah. It's all rather unfortunate. So an adult's body may turn out as usually somewhere between 7 and 10 years old in terms of its cells, though some of the cells are much, much younger. And 98% of the 7 billion atoms in the human body are replaced yearly.
Do you know, I think some of my socks are older than I am.
Way there, though. How would you spot a Neanderthal if you saw one on a bus?
He'd be the one who comes and sits next to me. Nearly always.
Yeah.
He's the one already sitting next to me because I'm married to him.
This is going to be the humiliate my husband show.
Yeah, he doesn't watch this. It's all right.
Oh, fine, OK.
He doesn't really understand it.
Is he the one looking at the wheels going, what the hell?
Have they got the lump and great forehead, or is that the Cro-Magnon?
Well, the point is, actually, we'd be very hard put to tell the difference.
Exactly
if they wore a T-shirt, admittedly, you'd say, well, it's an unusual looking
That's
person.
our producer.
Yes, but if you imagine... if, and I dream of it, we shaved and dressed our producer one day, popped her on a bus... she might look like a normal person. That's, the point is that they...
So far, we haven't.
No, we've not managed that yet.
He looks like...
Is that a model?
That's a model of how they might look. Unfortunately, we think of them as incredibly stupid, but they had religious rites, they buried their dead, they made ornaments. At one point, we were one species that diverged, and these two branches of humanity lived in Europe. In fact, Neanderthals lived in Europe for 4 times longer than we ever have. They had a long period of living there.
And did we cross over?
We did cross over, and no one quite knows why they went extinct, whether we bullied them, whether we outsmarted them. They were stronger than us.
Right.
We invented the bus, though.
We did They didn't invent the bus. You can't get on that one. But about 1 to 4% of our DNA is Neanderthal, so we crossbred.
So were there ever, for instance, Homo sapiens who married Neanderthals? You imagine a wedding like that?
Yeah.
It's going to be a punch-up in a car park.
Yeah. Go to Basildon any Saturday night.
I'm glad you said that.
Sorry. No.
I just want to tour again one day.
Of Norfolk.
Yeah. But no, the fact is, yes, you're right. I mean, there was interbreeding. And there are many theories. Some think that we, Homo sapiens, as it were, kept Neanderthal girls as sex slaves, but it's very possible it was the other way around, because they were stronger than us. But certainly there was a lot of interbreeding, but for some reason they died out.
Probably the first genocide, first of many that we proudly executed over the many centuries.
Maybe we just teased them to death. Maybe they couldn't take it anymore.
Wonderful.
I know I'm ugly and stupid.
So politically incorrect.
Oh, I can run fast. Oh, you're really good.
Why are they called Neanderthal?
Is it an anagram?
Probably is. Anagram of leather dant.
Leather dant. Leather dant.
But no.
That's a period in time, isn't it?
No, it's not actually. It's just simply a valley near Dusseldorf in Germany where they were found Neanderthal. There were many other. Can you name other species?
I do like the idea, though, of having
Homo
another
australis.
species of human that is just a little bit stupid, but, you know, friendly, and lived with us and were quite happy just to do all the jobs and stuff for us.
Well, it's Brave New World, isn't it? Exactly. The
I like the
gammas.
idea of it, I have to say. I mean, I'm not a nutter or anything.
No.
But I like the idea of... Who wouldn't mind, either? They'd be very simple
and could be your sex slave.
obliging.
Yep,
Yeah.
Can we go back to sort of the picture of the man that looks like a gnome?
Oh, yes.
Where's
the producer.
Yeah, I don't really fancy that as a sex slave, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not being overly fussy, I just think... Yes.
Bearing in mind, though, Jimmy, this is before the invention of electric light. You know, it's gloomy.
Yeah.
Be in a cave.
It's cold.
You be in a cave, it's cold.
Have a few beers, you'd be fine.
He's quite a friendly-looking bloke, isn't he, really? For a Neanderthal?
Yes, definitely. But if you gave him, and when I say him, I mean a Neanderthal man, a tracksuit and a haircut, he would attract no more attention than any of the other nutters on a bus.
What's the best punishment to keep people punctual? I haven't encountered it yet because I'm a very late person. So
Why? It drives me
mad.
mad.
I know. Sandy, I know.
You were supposed to be on last week's show, weren't you?
If you make an arrangement, why can't you turn up on time?
Because I do the thing where I think as long as I leave the house before the arrangement starts, then it's fine.
I do the same.
Wow.
I've got 3 minutes to get there. Yeah, exactly.
But it's in Wales.
There's a name for people like you. It's called selfish.
Yes.
I'm always on time, Sandy.
What about you, Jimmy?
I've been late once in my professional career. I was late for a gig in Blackburn by 2 hours because the train just stopped.
Oh.
So it was, yeah... It was,
Did they wait?
Well, the annoying thing was I had to buy everyone a drink.
Yeah, with your audience, that's only 18 quid.
I once had a gig in Torquay, and I was told I could fly down to the area.
You can't fly.
I was
These magic beans and...
The PA had a flight going from Gatwick. Anyway, the flight was cancelled. So I went out to the cab rank and I got in a black cab and I said, will you please take me to Torquay? And we were 10 minutes late.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
The bill was eye-watering.
Well, that's always the cheapest way to do it, isn't it? A black cab.
Anyway, best punishment to keep people punctual.
Is it impaling people and planting them in their own garden?
It's guilt is the very best thing. So what does not work is fining people for being late. So they did a study, 2 Israeli economists, and they found that punctuality gets worse with a financial penalty. So they had 10 Israeli daycare centres, and some of them, if the parents were late picking up the kids, they just had to make peace with the teacher. Then they changed the system and they brought in this small fine, it was about £2, as a penalty for lateness. And punctuality immediately got worse. People are happier to pay a small fine than they are to face the guilt.
Because you feel like you've paid your dues.
It doesn't matter, I paid for it.
Well, just up the fine.
Yeah, I'd pay
No,
£2. I wouldn't pay £200 to be late.
I think if the daycare centre said if you're 10 minutes late, it's 200 quid, you say, you can keep the kid.
We liked him, we didn't love him. Like...
We have others.
Yeah.
It's fine. They're older and can make tea.
What is it about software engineers that drives people to violence?
I don't like software which anticipates needs I don't have. The sort of spell checker thing which corrects your spell which you didn't want to spell. I've got RSI now from correcting the corrections on my phone.
If I want to type the C word, and I do sometimes, it comes up with Cynthia, and that's my mother-in-law's name. And she's lovely. It seems so unfair.
Let's hope it doesn't work the other way round.
Unfortunately, in the original Greek, it is Kunthia. Is it? There is no letter Y in Greek. It's an upsilon.
That's alarming.
It is Kunthia. No, I'm going back to the very first software engineer that ever was.
Babbage.
Well, Babbage owed an enormous debt to this person.
Ada Lovelace.
Ada Lovelace also owed a debt to this person. Ada Lovelace wanted to use the... You've done very well. Ada Lovelace was the daughter of...
Mr. Software.
So disappointing.
Because, you know, Mr. Baker, don't you?
Yes, you do.
Mr. Butcher.
Old
Mr.
Jeremiah
Cooper.
Software.
But it's so much more interesting that she happened to be the daughter of Lord Byron, and she was one of the great mathematicians of her age. And she was a woman we should celebrate. And she was a colleague, as you say, of Charles Babbage. And they had got their difference engine, and they wanted to steal the idea of a Frenchman who'd come up with the idea. It's a software idea. It was for automating something. As a little boy, he used to sit on a particular type of machine and watch it working and thinking, I could make this better. And he invented a punch card system for it. And he has... its name is...
It's not those pianos that
No,
play themselves.
pianolas used the same system, but this is before that. It's much more useful because it made something everybody in the world wanted to buy, which is clothes and textiles.
Oh, is it for, like, a pattern on
a loom.
cloth?
A loom. Right. It's a loom, and it's a particular kind of loom. Jacquard is the name. Joseph Marie Jacquard. And he was an extraordinary man, born in 1752,
And these looms were used right up until our lifetimes. There you are.
Look at that.
That's what he invented. Now, you look at those punch cards, you think, now, what can that do? Babbage correctly saw this couldn't just make a loom and a tapestry and a picture, but it could also possibly do calculations and other such things that mathematicians were interested in. And so we have a portrait of Jacquard himself, which is done in woven silk using a Jacquard loom. That is done by punched cards. Isn't that astonishing? The depth, the tone, look at the knees there, the way the cloth is. I mean,
looks almost like a photograph.
It almost looks like a photograph.
You think you'd be happier, wouldn't you?
Well, that's true. Smiling in photographs is a very recent thing.
Oh, really?
It was never considered normal. It was considered weird to smile. But the question was, why did he drive people to violence?
Oh, because he... Was it like Luddites? Did they come and smash his machinery?
They did, because it took so much work away from
the
them.
shoe throwers, the saboteurs.
And what's the French for a wooden shoe?
A sabot.
A sabot is a clog, and they would throw their clogs into the looms to break them up. And a sabot was known as sabotage, and that's where we get our word sabotage. They would sabotage his machines. And actually, Luddites in Britain were nothing like as violent as the saboteurs of France in Lyon and places like that.
Different footwear, I suppose.
Different footwear.
You do more with a clog, can't you, than a conventional shoe?
We had an outbreak of it in my parish.
Did you?
Yeah, I'm afraid so. It's a shoe area, so when the automation of the shoe trade came in, there was a bit of smashing up of machines.
That's a nightmare, though, because if the people are destroying the machines with shoes, if the machine's still going, they're just making ammunition. Their own destruction.
I don't think they use shoes.
That's so true.
Yeah. Just as they come out, chuck them back at the machine.
You don't have to use shoes to make a machine break. It just the French wore wooden clogs and those sabots. But it is fascinating, isn't it, to think...
Where would we be without trees?
Well, so true. What's so attractive about ordinary people? Not the movie, which is a very fine movie, of course.
It's the massive cars they drive. Buses.
Ordinary people drive buses. Well, you mean ordinary people are on buses?
Yeah.
Well, it's not quite symmetry. This is known as coenophilia, and it seems that if you take two not very good-looking people and merge their image, people are more likely to be attracted to them. And Galton, who was a famous criminologist and was interested in the appearance of criminals, thought he would try and find the absolute criminal type by taking photographs of criminals and merging them. And he was astonished to find the more he did so, the more pleasant they appeared to be. So you average out people's looks, and we are more attracted to that, it seems. We've actually done a little merge of some of our friends around the table just to show you how attractive you look when you put them together.
Oh, yeah.
Ta-da!
Oh, yeah. It's Jean from Tenerife. Oh, no, we look like a tennis player.
You do look like a tennis player with an open piano lid. Looks very nice. And let's try the other two.
Serial killer.
Let's not have children. The eyes...
Police are currently looking for...
There's something a bit odd about the eyes there. It's from your photograph there, Johnny.
We just look like the biggest idiot in the world.
I think someone took your photograph and did one of those, you know, red-eye things.
No, he looks like someone who walked in and caught his parents having sex and they didn't stop.
Was the sort of man the police say, oh, he was quiet, always kept to himself?
Yes, he was just alone, perfectly nice.
He used to cry a lot at Christmas.
Well, as I say, it's called coenophilia, and it is this theory. Recent research, however, from the Australian National University suggests that good-looking men earn 22% more than not good-looking men.
Yeah, because they're attractive, or because they're from Australia?
No, within Australia. They're all Australian. Within Australia, the 22 better-looking percentage. A study of female golfers also found that they were better. They shot lower scores. And the theory is that they were more likely to have offers of sponsorship and therefore just played that much harder, knowing how much money they would make.
But surely it's about confidence as well. If you look in the mirror and you think, wow, I'm a dish, then you get out there and I can play golf.
Yeah, I suppose that's right.
But if you look in the mirror and weep...
And think, what a...
Well, I look in the mirror and I like it.
Yeah, and so you bloody well should.
I never look in a mirror. My partner's much taller than me and she put them all up, so I have never... What's the most mysterious thing you do in bed?
You regrow, you regenerate your body parts, don't you?
OK,
At night. That's what I call it, anyway. What are you doing in there? I'm regenerating!
Do you mean that there are bits that are broken? You mend them, is that what you mean?
Don't you grow a new liver every 7 years or something? There's no bit of you that is actually the age that you are.
No, I think it's every 10 years you're a totally new person.
You're totally new, bones,
yes,
everything.
No, you don't grow gums back. Gums recede and they don't come back. You can't go, oh, I think I'm going to grow my gums long this year.
It's probably quite good that the gums don't keep growing and growing and growing.
Yeah.
Imagine having to get them trimmed. That's going to be an extremely bloody...
What do you do for a living? I'm a gum dresser.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to get head to toe in plastic. It's like CSI. When someone comes in for a long overdue gum trimming.
You have to show them the back of their gums.
Yeah. So, the most thing that we do in bed, all of us...
Dreaming.
Breathing.
It's sleeping. We have no idea. It is the most mysterious thing that we do in bed because we just don't know why we do it. Why would you end the day unconscious and basically paralysed and leave yourself available to attack by predators unless there is some fantastic evolutionary benefit that outweighs the risk? And the fact is, we just don't know. People have thought it was to do with energy conservation.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous because you actually don't save much energy.
Really?
No, not when you sleep, no.
How many days can you go without sleep for before you die?
If you stay awake for 17 hours, it's the same as having 2 glasses of wine in terms of how it would affect your performance.
Red wine or white wine? Because if it's white wine, then I'll just start crying.
Oh, would you? Oh, you're bad drunk.
Yeah, I'd never once drunk more than 2 glasses of white wine and not use the phrase, why don't you just dump me then?
Even to people who you're not in a relationship.
No, you save about 110 calories each night, so a 2-finger Kit Kat is 107. It's not a lot, is it?
But that's the only energy saving.
That's the only energy saving.
So when you wake up in the morning, you can have a 2-finger Kit Kat?
Help yourself.
Gratis.
Yeah, it totally wipes it all out, frankly.
It's a classy breakfast.
Morning, everyone.
So the theory that I like best, there have been some scientists at the University of Rochester Medical Center in New York, and they think it's when our brains are cleaned. There's a professor, Maiken Nithergork, and she says you can think of it like having a house party. You can either entertain the guests or clean up the house, but you can't really do both at the same time. That's the theory. But how much you sleep depends on your own circadian rhythm. So I didn't sleep very much. Anybody here a good sleeper?
I've got a 5-month-old baby, so I only sleep in hour-and-a-half chunks at the moment.
So have you just come for a break just tonight?
This is the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Are you a good sleeper now? Do you sleep well?
Yeah, I can sleep a lot, yeah.
Apparently what you should do to find out how much you need to sleep is you should spend a week not having an alarm clock at all, and you should let your body just wake up when it needs to and log how many hours, and if you need 6 hours and you need to get up at 7 a.m, then you know what time you've got to go to bed.
But Sandy, you need a wee at 5.
Yes.
No matter what.
Yeah, it's very annoying. Yeah. And it's not like you particularly have that much wee to do.
You get there and you think, why have you woken me up for that? I would rather have just left that in the bed. We could have just done it in the morning.
Also, sometimes, in the middle of the night wee, you can start thinking about something stressful or get frightened by noises in the house.
Presumably, these people aren't bored or tired, so why are they yawning?
Jim, before... You can't even get to the end of the thing.
We used to think that it gave us extra oxygen, but it absolutely does not do that. But it may be that it regulates the brain temperature by cooling the blood on the way to the brain, and that makes us more alert. So some people now do it in sport, not because they're stressed, but because they're trying to get themselves as ready as they can. What is amazing about it does seem to be contagious, but only some people are susceptible to it. It rather depends on how much empathy they have. If you have more empathy, you're more likely, as it were, to catch a yawn. And yawns are not catching at all in children under the age of 4, because before the age of 4, you haven't developed any empathy. But virtually all vertebrates yawn. So fish, snakes, but only humans and chimpanzees, dogs, budgies have contagion of yawning.
Fish are yawning.
Yes.
That puts an entirely different perspective on fish now, doesn't it?
There's even interspecies contagion of yawning. So a human and a dog might... one yawns and then sets the other one off.
Oh,
so
that's me now.
That's so sweet. And you're going to love this. Babies yawn in the womb. Have a look at this tiny bit of footage.
Yeah, he's yawning, Sandy. He's yawning. He's yawning.
Here's a good word to take away, which I really love. Pandiculation. Pandiculation is yawning and stretching at the same time. And just for any women who are using Prozac or using antidepressant drugs, there is a side effect that you can get, which is the yawning orgasm, is that you have an orgasm every time you yawn.
That takes me back to my honeymoon.
Thank you for watching.